Transformers movie studio series. We've been talking about this for feels like 2 months now, and more stuff has started showing up. And just like what we had with the Generations line and Power of the Primes, where there was UPC code listings in retail and inside computers and stuff like that, now we have this same kind of situation now that it's happened with the Transform movie studio series stuff. So a guy by the name of Mr. Chaos, whose identity is unknown, has a computer database of the UPC listings for the upcoming studio series Transformer movie stuff. And a lot of it is stand-in code names, like what we had. Same thing with Power of the Primes, where it was characters that they were just stand-in names, which we then ended up finding out were other characters that we took guesses at, and we were actually correct in the end. So here, we'll just go through the motions of this, and anyone, if they want to post in the comments what they think those characters are or who they are, I welcome them to give their opinions, because, I mean, even me, I haven't really done too much digging to figure out who some of those characters are, because I feel that it might change. I want to take an I want to take an educated guess, but I don't want to take a guess that'll be, 100%.
Right.
So
right.
so we'll start with the first one. So in the Deluxe class, we have the UPC listings for everything. And what's good about all of this, it also tells us what this entire line is going to be, because we've only known about like a handful of figures, like maybe like 5 or 6. Now we know like a ton here. We know all the scales. We know everything. So number 1, in the Deluxe class of this, we have a character called Striker 2. Who that is, we don't know. It's actually written in quotes, meaning it's a stand-in name. After that, we have Stinger. That's an interesting one, because now, like just before, we were talking about how Stinger is going to get finally a good toy, So we have Stinger. We have Crowbar. Crowbar was one of the characters in the 3rd Transformer movie. That was part of the Dreads, if you will. We have Ratchet, based in his Transformer 1 body. And this is Deluxe, keep in mind. And then we have Jazz in his Transformer 1 body, which, mind you, we only had 1 body, technically. And also in a Deluxe scale. So that's interesting, too, because Jazz was one of those characters that he really just had that 1 mold in the first Transformer 2007 movie, and they just repainted that like crazy.
And milked it like crazy.
Like crazy. All-spark powered, premium, G1 inspired. I know I'm forgetting one. Of course, the original colors. Final Battle was another one too, although that was slightly remolded. Hopefully this will be a new mold. And then we have Lockdown, which again, surprise. We were just talking about the Peru Killer, 3rd-party one, and now we have a Deluxe Lockdown. Maybe the scary thing is, I'm almost worried that some of these might just be re-release repaints.
Right.
I hope that's not the case, because this is a lot of stuff right here. This is just
you know what I wish that Lockdown was? The Reveal the Shield one that like we couldn't get a hold of, or that became Axor.
Axor, yeah. Well, we did get it as a Lockdown.
Yeah.
But Axor.
But no, I'm just saying I wish that was the re-release. If it was a re-release, just be that one and not the movie one.
Well, it's the studio series, so I'm pretty sure it would defeat the purpose. But at the same time, it's like, this is a Deluxe scale Lockdown. We already got a Deluxe scale Lockdown from Age of Extinction, and it was okay. It wasn't like great. But so I'm like, how are the we're not a far away from that old toy. How much are they going to reinvent the wheel here with this Lockdown to make it so much different? Same thing with the Jazz. Now the Jazz, mind you, it's been 10 years. Imagine it's been 10 years since that mold.
And that card doesn't exist anymore. The Solstice, the Pontiac is gone, and that car is gone.
So yeah, well there you go. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do there. Are they going to just do a straight up repaint and maybe a mild retool of the original toy? Or are they going to make something completely from scratch that's a little more using modern engineering? I kind of hope the latter, because that mold is not that great. I mean, Jazz barely has hands with that toy. You know
exactly.
What I mean? So it'd be really cool to get
little,
some
like
claws.
I wouldn't even call them claws, because claws can grip stuff still.
Yeah, it's like I know. It's like
a slit. It's a plastic slither.
It's a
Sliver.
hollow folded hand with a peg hole to put the slash telescopic gun, if you
Yeah.
will. Anyways, and then there's a few others here, which they list them off here as a different case assortment. Where you have one case assortment of deluxes, then there's another case, again, another striker, but this one was striker 2, this one's just striker, another ratchet, possibly maybe a repaint, maybe done in the Revenge of the Fallen colors, maybe with Cybertronian tattoos, maybe just G1 inspired, a character called Blue Light, which again, educated guess, maybe Blackout in that scale, maybe Jolt, who had a very limited appearance and only really a couple of toys from Revenge of the Fallen. Jolt was the character that helped Optimus get all his Jetfire pieces put on him.
Didn't he resurrect him? Wasn't he like the defibrillator?
Not,
The Autobot
he did use
defibrillator?
electricity, but yeah, he just used it more in a
Like I'm trying
magnetic.
to remember that scene, but I remember I'm
It
just
was just, if
I
I
don't know why
remember,
my brain remembers Optimus Prime on the ground. Jolt comes over, gives him a jolt of energy.
no,
I'm just
that was Shia putting the matrix of leadership in his chest. That's what
mm,
woke him up.
okay.
So
I'm
I
thinking
mean,
of it. Finding it different.
maybe Blue Light is him. Again, it's just a guess. Don't take my word for it. Another character named Mercenary. Uh,
Or you
I
know, it'd
don't.
be funny if Blue Light was like a repaint of Ratchet, but he's in like British ambulance colors because I think they use blue lights over there for their ambulances, or maybe he's
Maybe
amber. I can't
maybe.
remember, but
Well, 3 Ratchet repaints and what? And that's crazy already. That's a
well,
lot of.
because remember they say like in this listing here it says Ratchet, and he's like yes, listed twice.
I don't know. Then we again, like I said, Mercenary.
Hmm.
This could be another repaint of Lockdown. This could be, Mercenary. It could be. I'm just trying to think of what other characters. Because one thing to remind everyone, it seems like all of these studio characters are characters that did appear in the movie. It's not toy only characters.
Yeah.
So I mean, just looking at the list of what we've gotten, maybe Mercenary is Sideswipe, another take at that mold and that character. Maybe it's Soundwave. Maybe it's the Revenge of the Fallen Soundwave. And then we have Sentry. Now, Sentry could possibly be Soundwave because Soundwave was a character that was overviewing everyone in space, at least that first Soundwave from Revenge of the Fallen that was like a satellite dish. So that's a possibility. Again, deluxe scale. So all these characters have already had deluxe toys in the past. So is it going to be a re-release? Is it going to be reinventing the wheel? I don't know. Then we get into Voyagers. Now in Voyagers, we have the Brawl that we knew about, the Starscream that we knew about, the Megatron that we knew about, the Optimus that we knew about, which was codenamed Radar. Before we knew the actual name of it, an Ironhide, and another Starscream. Now, again, the Starscream, it's a seeker jet. Take a guess. you know, again, it's not like they didn't do that with 2007 and Revenge of the Fallen. We got our Skywarp, we got our Thundercracker, we got our Dirge, not Dirge, Thrust, and they did the repaints of everybody. So
Why not?
those
You got all those names just lying there. Just use
yeah,
them.
they're gonna use. They're definitely.
I'm surprised they didn't show up in the movies.
You know what? I think
I'm
that
surprised.
I think it was just them going more. How are we gonna explain a purple and blue, or
Yeah, I guess so.
where Starscream even was. He wasn't in his G1 colors, even though they did that G1 color scheme again with the toys. Now and then finally we end up in the leader class, and the leader class one we have Grimlock and Blackout. Now Grimlock, I'm going to assume it's going to be obviously, just a call to form again. The thing with this is that Age of Extinction had a ton of Grimlock toys in every single scale,
Hmm.
and I actually liked that leader class Grimlock toy. I actually liked it quite a bit. So I'm really curious what they're going to do here with a leader class Grimlock again, where the toy, wasn't too long ago when this thing came out, and there was tons of different Grimlock toys when that movie came out. So is it just part of me feels, and I could totally be wrong here, part of me feels this might end up being a lot of the stuff might be repaint repackages of old product, and then some of it will be new stuff, because I mean the stuff that we have seen has also been stuff that have been new characters. for those scales. And what I mean by that is like when they say it's a let's say we didn't see the leader blackout. If someone told me you're getting a leader blackout, I can't say that it's going to be a repack because there never was one. We had a Voyager, we had a fast action battler, we had a there wasn't in a legend scale, there wasn't much to pull from there. So there has to be something made from the ground up. But when you look at stuff like, or even when you say, oh, there's going to be a Voyager Brawl, there never was a Voyager Brawl. So it has to be something made from scratch.
Yeah.
But when you say Leader Grimlock, when you say, Deluxe Ratchet, Deluxe Lockdown, those are the ones that make me scratch my head and go, I don't know. Like, I mean, they could totally like make a brand new toy, but that's a big list of stuff here. There's a strong possibility. But you know what? Part of me also thinks, look, this stuff is going to be coming out in 2018. We're going to have a Bumblebee movie year that probably won't have a lot of toy characters outside of Bumblebee because he's the main focus.
Right,
so I think that they're going, you know what? It's going to be a quiet movie year. Maybe we should really pad it out with a lot of new product. This is only based on speculation here. Just me trying to make sense of what we have here, because this is a lot of product, and a lot of it, I'm really curious if it's just going to be repackages. I mean, personally, I'd love it if it was brand new stuff. But I mean, to get a new Lockdown toy in a deluxe scale after we got one not too long ago. To get then again, maybe that's why we ended up with Peru King, because they knew something. Who knows? Who knows? It's,
sidetrack. Yeah, we're not going to spend more money to like make this guy look better. Let's just put out this.
Yeah, like they knew that.
I hope not. I really hope not.
They knew what Hasbro was doing.
They finally get a really good Decepticon bad guy, or just a really good bad guy in general. And that bad guy played opposite of Kelsey Grammer kind of thing.
Yeah.
and then they just can't give him a really awesome toy that we would want to buy.
And
it's sad because personally I would be a little bit more excited if this was a return to the Human Alliance line kind of thing, where they really put a lot of effort and
the Human Alliance line really was like the distant cousin of the Alternators in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I mean, me and you both were big fans of alternators and vinyl tech, so it's something that's always welcome.
I would just say they don't have to kind of base it around this one scale of fitting these specific toys. They just make these characters, make these figures the best they can be, and people would be all over them.
Well,
especially for Lockdown,
that's why I think third party exists for that, because you clearly see here just how retail works. We got to do deluxes of X amount of characters. We got to do Voyagers of X amount of characters.
Got to hit all the price points. You got to hit all the price points.
We got to make sure little Timmy could afford an Optimus Prime at a lower price point instead of making him a leader class at
Yeah, because little Timmy has to. I guess I sound a little bit cynical, but I'm not trying to. Little Timmy has to sell to his parents, hey, you don't have to look at this $100 toy. You could still hook me up with a $12 toy.
Yeah, well,
and I'll still be just as happy. I remember I used to do that as a kid. It's like, okay, look, this one I know is expensive, but if you look over here, you get a 2-pack, and it's not as expensive, right?
Well,
right?
And for the longest time with Transformers, the biggest issue with that was, and this literally persisted until, I want to say Beast Wars really was the beginning of it. It really became definite when we got into the movie stuff, but Beast Wars and RID were the beginning of it, where you had before Beast Wars and RID, not Beast Wars, Beast Machines and RID, you had a character and you didn't have an option.
Yeah.
Whatever he was, that was his scale, that was his price point, and that was it. Where starting with Beast Machines, there was multiple scales of Cheetor, multiple scales of Megatron, multiple scales of Optimus Primal, and they continue that into RID, where you had multiple scales of Optimus Prime, Ultra Magnus, Scourge, even because the Spy Changers just led to repaints of larger characters, and it's just, that was the beginning of that. And obviously when we went into the Unicron trilogy, it didn't become a thing until Cybertron, where Cybertron did the same thing. Using that legend scale, they repainted everything and were able to go, okay, here's an Optimus Prime, here's all these other characters in a smaller scale. So you could get the leader class Cybertron, Galaxy Force, Optimus Prime, or you could get this legend scale one.
Right.
And that existed, but I felt it really didn't go into true form until the first movie, where the first movie's like, here's a character in every scale. You like Optimus Prime? Here he is as a Legends. Here he is as a Deluxe. Here he is as a Voyager. Here he is as a leader. Here he is as a fast action battler. Here he is as a cyber stomper. Here he is as a bumpin' battler. Like they made like
what's the phrase you use again? What's your flavor?
What's your flavor? What's your flavor? Like, you like this? What's your and they did that, especially with 2007. They did that with every character. They had like every scale, and I feel that this might be another case of that, where they're making sure that everyone gets a fair chance at a fair price point for the market, because the reality is, think about it this way. Look, Jazz. When was his last toy? In my opinion, I think it was the Human Alliance, if I remember correctly. I don't think he had anything else after that.
He didn't have any Unleashed stuff or anything like that.
No,
that was before that.
No, he had that. That was all before.
Okay.
So like it's just the way that I see it is, and Jazz, like his predominance was 10 years ago, and then there was trickles of here, and 2008 there was a repaint here, 2009 there was this and that. They would do I remember in Dark of the Moon they did like a Target exclusive repaint, but it wasn't until I think the Human Alliance was the last definitive figure for him. And then there was nothing for years. So and again, Human Alliance, I believe that was around that Dark of the Moon time. So you're talking 2012. So that's still 5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And so kids who were like even 1 year old when that movie came out, now they're 6, now they're 7, now they're 8. So it's a new prime market here that they could be jumping into. But anyways, we're going long-winded into this, but it's just it's
well, I don't know. It's just.
It's an interesting thing to look at.
They're breathing life back into, oh my god, the first 4.
Yeah, it's essentially
movies?
The first 4 movies.
I can't believe I'm saying that. You know what I mean? Like we're that knee deep. 10 years in.
Yep, more or less.
10 years in for that.
10 plus now,
and the Marvel movies and stuff.
So
time flies.